Hello, it's Joyful Hermit, and I want to finish this series of events that happened during the latter part of May and into June and maybe the first week of July of 1988. Somehow I just want to finish sharing them and then tonight pray for anything next or whatever His real presence would want me to share, if anything. I'm meeting with my spiritual director tomorrow afternoon and to go over many things. So we never know what will occur. But this was the last words that were spoken. Incidentally, during this time, Dr. H had started to tape record everything. And that's how I have these transcripts. So this one was one in which I guess God knew. I mean, obviously He knew in advance that that Dr. H had many questions. I didn't know he did, but he did, and so Dr. H asked questions, and I'll just insert when it's him asking the question and what the answer is then. And I don't think I need to explain any more how these things occurred. I'm not really sure how. And they haven't sensed spontaneously like that at all. I've had other types of experiences, but nothing this direct and verbal in the presence of other people. And I don't desire them. I never desired these. I never thought they would happen. I never said after they stopped happening, oh, I want them back. I don't know. I guess I always figure we take whatever God gives us as gifts and move on and always expect the unexpected. It started out, and I said, I am your humble servant. And I don't know if that was me or if that was maybe my angel. I don't know. Yes, the deep blue-violet petunia has a deep brown cord root, and even though there is much of it exposed to the air and the elements, the root is strong and deep, thicker than one might imagine for such a delicate bloom. And your life may not grow in the ways that your exposed petals think it should grow, and one might not recognize the root as belonging to a petunia. But that which is underground is linked to the source, and that with a capital S, and is nurtured by God and grows by God. And whatever elements attack the exposed root and bloom do not affect in the least the root that thrives below the ground in the deep, rich soil. It hangs on and can grow anywhere that God desires it to grow, and even withered blooms have magnificent root structures. This never ceases. It is ordained and shall be. Recall your roots. And then I'm describing what I am seeing, but this voice is saying. The number 8 presents itself. Like a track it keeps going, and it twists and twirls, never ending, beginning without end, not flat, but multi-dimensional, luminescent, filled with power, and filled with love. And this love was with a capital L. Love is the power that surges and courses through the roots, through the 8. And evidently, this great source, God, knew that Dr. H wanted to ask a question or wanted to say something. I didn't know. You may speak. So Dr. H said to me, and ask at this point if there's no direct link for your life to the events happening in your life, that you, through this energy, can get guidance in addition to what's already been said? The answer was, stop thinking and perceiving of it as looking down from above on situations, but stay beneath them in the depth and the richness where your roots take hold firmly, and let the love circle the track and surge through your roots. You can be very comforted beneath the surface. Remain there in your strength. And even now, I'm realizing that back then, 24 years ago, God was telling me, preparing me for the hermit life that I had no inkling of at that point in time, not till I became Catholic and even after a few years of being Catholic. So Dr. H said, here, and can I ask another question? And Dr. H was becoming a little bit timorous because this was quite an awesome thing happening. You may speak, the voice said. And Dr. H said, and this is a very important question for me. Is this insight and wisdom, is it from energy outside the spiritual center of, I gave my name, or is it an energy that's really from her and speaking her own inner thoughts in a very altered state? Or are these wisdoms coming from a process outside of her body, outside of her soul, outside of this room? The voice said, this has been indeed a concern of yours, is it not? And the voice was becoming more forceful. And Dr. H said, very sort of startled, yes, it has. And the answer is quite clear, said the voice. The strength, the wisdom as you call it, comes from God the Father and those who love this being very much, who come from without and settle within the lovely spirit that we have here embodied in this being, who now chooses to live on this earth. Does that tell you that this being opens her heart to the outer source of all beingness and energy? And as she, in her time of need, would call for those such as her beloved grandmother. And then this became very forcefully spoken, that it is God the Father, the source of all beingness and energy, who allows the outer love to encircle and reside within her inner being? From without to within, as you hear now, from within to without, as you are without her inner being. Is this clear to you? And Dr. H said, sort of stuttering and stumbling, I understand the process and the actual belief of emanating from the Father and the aspects of that's very difficult for me. And I couldn't even understand all his words on the tape because his voice was stammering and became very soft. So this voice, the God Father, answered again and explained, as you may picture then what was spoken previously, a figure 8 in a tube 8, and picture either a source of energy that you might know, such as water or neon, and that flows through, and that is in 3 dimensions for you to understand, and that this spirit, this entity, and he gave my name, that we have here is a link. Yes, you may even picture her body at juncture point on this figure 8, and it is at juncture point with the lower back that is of such pain to her. And the source then of all energy, of the system that is too incomprehensible for your mind as it is on earth to comprehend, this energy flows, and this body is merely at juncture with the source of all life on this earth, and energy without and beyond this earth and planet. Does this help you see? And Dr. H asked another question. Could you answer this question? Is there in the future a physical healing for the body of, and he gave my name. And the voice responded, only in the sense of this body being linked and nurtured by the ever-flowing source of what you call divine intervention. As for the body that walks the earth, it will indeed know earthly pain. And Dr. H. asked again, is there any reason for this unknown to be in the conscious mind of, gave my name. Well, yes, of course. She needs the help. And from here the voice grew in a crescendo. She desires the help. And very simply put, she asked for help and she receives because she believes and has a great capacity to believe even more that will come and be shown to her for her loving kindness and for her espousal to others. And that was it. And after that, Dr. H. And I, this just never occurred again. And it was a great deal to ponder. And even with the wedding of my soul, it has been 24 years, and I am still growing and still learning. I've had many backslidings and many struggles against his real presence, even in being very slow to grasp, and many times that I would try to creep out back into the world, even, as I said, the world of the Temporal Catholic Church, and even in the goodness of those aspects. But his real presence didn't want that for me. And I'm very stubborn and very young in my soul, I think, because I have a hard time letting go of what I think might be good, might be a good thing for the church or for others, and it isn't necessarily what God thinks. So He's very patient with us. He's been so merciful to me and has waited and waited and tried to teach me and would cut me off, painfully so, in various steps of the way when I wasn't cooperating. And because he knew that I wanted to do his will, and in order to help me do his will, he had to limit me many, many times. And this pain has stayed with me because I have needed those limitations. And pain is beautiful in other ways, as I hope you're starting to see, that it's a tool that can be utilized by his real presence to help us go along our path that we desire very much in union with him. So even with this state now that has been occurring at Mass for the last 3.5 years, I have learned that that's a betrothal phase. I have not come to spiritual matrimony, which I desire very much. You can see that the spiritual life can be a lengthy journey and filled with many ups and downs. I just hope and pray and encourage all of you. There are many who are way beyond me in the spiritual life, to stick with it and to love God and desire his will and desire union with him. And he will respond to you. And I do pray that all of you are better students than I have been and faster learners. But even reviewing these and sharing these now has given me impetus yet again to stick with living beneath the soil in my hiddenness, not necessarily a visible hiddenness, but an interior hiddenness, but yet a visible hiddenness if that is his will. And I will find out. Maybe he's pleased with these videos and maybe not. We'll find out, and I'll let you know. God bless his real presence in you, and I so pray that even one of you has been inspired all the more to know that God is very real and with us and with you and loves you very much.